25 seconds as I speak. Thank you, Ankar, for putting it on YouTube Live. Or thank you, Tech Master, I should say, whoever did this. Thank you very much. And we are go. Let's have a round of applause to start with. I want to see everyone clapping. Tech Master, if you could showcase everyone on the video so that we can see everyone clapping. Thank you. Applause to start with. I want to see everyone clapping. Tech Master, if you could. Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone. Welcome to meeting number 107 of Professional Speakers, where eloquence meets impact. I will begin by reciting the club mission statement. We provide a supportive and positive learning experience in which members are empowered to develop their communication and leadership skills, resulting in greater self-confidence and personal growth. Let's have a round of applause for me being able to remember the club mission statement. At the very beginning, I would like to acknowledge the presence of our esteemed guests. In no particular order, I would like to recognize first and foremost Naveen Sharma. Let's have a round of applause for him. Followed by guest Anil, Geeta Kashyap. Let's keep on clapping as I take the name. Renu Gupta, Seema, and I believe this is, if this is area director Seema, then I acknowledge her presence. Suchasmita Mishra, thank you everyone for being here. Now, one of the finest traditions of professional speakers is our weekly presentation where we showcase our short-term goals. I will begin the presentation and I will also share the screen. And as your name pops up for each member, please state where you are with your particular educational goal. I would request the check master to keep in check if a person who is not required to speak unmuted and mute that person. So starting with our first speaker, with our first professional speaker.
Good evening, everybody. This is Aditya. My short term goal is to create 90 social media posts in the next 90 days and increase my reading speed to 300 words per minute. The deadline for both of these short term goals is 30th September. I am not keeping very well on the track with my short term goal, but given the fact that it's only 30 days left, this is a reminder that I need to buckle up and get back on the track. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. I am Ankur Shimali. My short-term goal in professional speaker is to improve my vocal variety and storytelling. For this, I have planned that I would complete my level 5 of two paths, innovative planning and persuasive influence by December 2020. Right now, I have completed my level 3 of innovative planning and level 4 of persuasive influence. There is only one speech left in persuasive influence. So I believe that I am on track and would be able to complete my goals within time. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. This is Anshupriya Prasad, and my short-term goal is to improve my listening skills, and I'm working towards it. Thank you.
Good everyone. I am Devna Chaturvedi. My short-term goals are threefold. One, to upload one dance tutorial on YouTube, use 5 new words or phrases in every prepared speaking assignment, and write 3 short stories inspired by my experiences as a dancer and a dance student. For the first one, I am 33% there. For the second one, out of the 3 times that I've delivered a prepared speaking assignment, I have used 5 new phrases in each one of those 3 times. For the third one, I am 2/3 on the way, in the sense that I've written 2 out of the 3 stories that I have to write.
Hi everyone, I'm Honey. I have the short-term goal around 3 steps. I have to complete my HPL and hence my DTM by 30th of December this year. I have to blog and deliver 20 out of my past 40 speeches, one each week, and I'm lagging this by one assignment. Working on my humor skills using Engaging Humor Pass Level 1, reading 2 books on humor, in which one is in progress, PG Woodhouse, and completing the Humor 101 course, which I intend to start on 1st of September. So that's from my side.
Good evening, everyone. I am Mukesh Chako, and I am working on my pronunciation as well as enunciation. And my target date was 30th August 2020. However, this week I did not have a proper external validation of my progress. Hence, I am deferring this target date to 30th September 2020. Thank you very much.
Hello everyone, I'm Raj Mehta. I have set so many goals for me, but first and foremost is to improve my speaking skills, and especially with regard to voice. During the last week, I attended a special table topic session conducted by your club, and I also read some chapters of a book and also watched some episodes of an English serial, Beecham Palace. And regarding the other 2 things, I could not do much.
Good evening, everyone. My short-term goals are to reduce crutch words and filler sounds, specifically to less than 4 and 18-minute speeches. Currently, the average is continuing to be at least 1 to 2 filler sounds in 5 to 7 minutes. I aim to have 0 grammatical errors. So far, there's only been one time occurrence of one error in a 5 to 7 minutes. Last couple of weeks have been error-free. The third goal is to use at least 4 new or uncommon words or phrases in 18-minute speeches, or to use at least one uncommon word or phrase in 7-minute speech. The average is about 3 to 4 words per phrase or phrases in 5 to 7 minutes. I also want to diminish the time limit exceed that I continue to do. Um, Last week, I exceeded the time limit by 35 seconds. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My short-term goal is to learn to smile naturally. Unfortunately, I've not been able to practice it much this week, partly due to the reason that I've been sick. I will, however, give you a reason to smile. While I was sick, I was supposed to take a medicine, a very bitter pill with water, and I asked my wife to fill this bottle up with water. What I did not realize that she filled it up with piping hot water. So I put the pill in my mouth and I took a giant swig of piping hot water. And trust me, a bitter pill and hot water do not go together. So I guess you've had your moment of fun. Let's move on to the next one.
Hello everyone, this is Chef Priya. My short-term goal is to write 9 articles by December 31st, 2020. Currently, my progress is at 33%. I'm also trying to give speeches from the traditional education module to enhance my speaking skills. Thank you. Back to you, Mr. Presiding Officer.
Thank you very much, everyone, for sharing your short-term goals and the progress on them. If anyone has got anything to say, any professional speakers member has got anything to say, please take a note towards the end of the meeting. We will request your inputs again. Your inputs can range from giving an accolade for help received to the kind of help that you can provide to a fellow member. Now, coming to the topic of the day and the people who will be leading the topic of the day. When I heard the word creativity for the first time, the first name that came to my mind was our professional speaker, Devina Chaturvedi. She is naturally creative. But the person who is actually going to lead this meeting, who's going to host this meeting, learnt creativity. And it is such a proud privilege for me to see this person increase by leaps and bounds. So he says that he comes from a lazy profession, but being the author of a book, being a district representative at the humorous speech contest last year, and all this when he himself says that he did not see this happening many years back, is testament to his can-do attitude and his efforts that he has put into himself and continues to do so and continues to inspire many people in this club. So everyone to get ready to be inspired, and more importantly, get ready to be creative. Let's welcome distinguished Toastmaster Mukesh Thakur with a huge round of applause. Distinguished Toastmaster Mukesh Thakur, being creative, distinguished Toastmaster Mukesh Thakur.
Creativity. When I heard this word, I got confused. Then I heard a quote. Creativity is hiding your sources. Because when I went deep into the meaning of creativity, I found that everything that happened after the Big Bang theory, not the series one, the actual Big Bang that happened 13.8 billion years ago, everything is happening just by getting inspired from one thing or another thing. So there is no creativity as such. But then I closed my eyes and then I thought, then how come we are getting so much renovation every day? We started from burning fire, now we are here doing virtual meetings. Though how this creativity comes out, for this I want you to do small activities. Only thing that you have to do is, if you can keep your video on, it will be good because I will be observing you. Think of the biggest problem that you are having at this moment of time in your life. Just close your eyes and think of the biggest problem that you are having at this moment of time. Thank you. I got that. Now, what we have to do, and this act is a very expertise act, because what I am going to ask you to put your mind on blank for 30 seconds only. Not much, only 30 seconds. Just keep your mind blank, and if any thoughts are coming, just observe it and let them go. but try to avoid any thoughts coming in. Your time starts now. Welcome back. Now you have to think the same problem that you had visualized 30 seconds ago, and you will find that your problem is smaller than what it appeared earlier. So that's how I came to know what is creativity. Everything that is being produced by your mind is the output of what is coming inside your mind. So your words, your thoughts, your opinion, everything is coming from whatever you put inside. So there is input, there is output. But if you put a bit of silence, if you put some manufacturing process inside your brain, then it will come out with different opinion, different outputs. So in my opinion, creativity comes when you give your brain, your mind, a bit of time. I don't know much about creativity, but we'll talk about the creativity throughout the meeting, and most possibly the silence as well as the creativity. But before we delve into the meeting, I will just explain what is our meeting structure and how we will be proceeding forward. Can anyone confirm if you can see the screen?
Yes, we can see this.
Okay, thank you very much. In our typical professional speakers meeting, we have 6 segments. In the first segment, we do our business segment where our members share their short-term goals and its progress throughout the week. So we have already through these segments, you all have already observed. In the next segment, we have one of our member deliver a professional speech that will be of duration of 18 minutes just on the line of today's speech. In the next segment, we have prepared speakers where 2 of our members will deliver prepared speeches. My apology. The third segment is table topics section where you will be asked to speak on any topic for 1 to 2 minutes. In the fourth segment, we have our prepared speeches where 2 members will deliver their prepared speeches as per the Toastmasters education program. In the next segment, that is our segment number 5, we invite one of the guests to deliver a talk on professional speaking, and that is called a Power Talk speaker and Power Talk. Today, we have a privilege of having DTM Sanjini Gupta with us. Can we have a huge round of applause for her? In the last segment, we have our general evaluation where the general evaluator will evaluate the entire meeting with the help of its team. And the team is comprises of counter, Hani Khanduja, timer, Raj Mehta, grammarian of the day, Aditya Gupta, and you are also part of the general evaluation because we will be asking your opinion on the prepared speeches as well as the professional speech. I will also ask grammarian of the day to come forward and share the word of the day.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the day. The word of the day is dulcet, D-U-L-C-E-T. It's an adjective. The meaning of the word is pleasing to the ear. The other meaning is generally pleasing or agreeable. An example of the usage is Last night, I fell asleep listening to the dulcet sound of soft jazz. I encourage everybody to use the word of the day as much as possible, and we will acknowledge the word of the day spoken by a speaker with showing them a thumbs up either on the video or on the emoji on your Zoom chat. The word of the day is also given in the chat for you. With that, I hand it over back to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you very much, Grammarian Aditya Gupta. It's always dulcet to hear your powerful voice. So, members and guests, are we ready to delve into our meeting? And we will start with our professional speech. The professional speech for today has certain objectives, and it includes the purpose of the speech is to understand techniques and to enhance the creative thinking skills by reviewing secondary sources. The second purpose is to apply some techniques and evaluate them to select those which can be applied. The objectives of the speech is to deliver a well-structured speech related to enhancing creative thinking skills, to incorporate vocal variety and descriptive language effectively in delivering the content of the speech, and seek audience participation as a part of the speech and manage it effectively. The professional speakers want you to turn on your video. Second, bring pen and paper. And 3, participate. Our professional speakers today is a master in economics by education, a research consultant by profession, and a self-proclaimed lifelong student of dance by passion. Please put your hands together for distinguished Toastmaster Devina Chaturvedi. Devina Chaturvedi, cultivating creativity 2 minutes at a time. 2 minutes at a time. Devina Chaturvedi.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. If the tech master or the Toastmaster may confirm that I am audible and visible.
Yes, you are audible and visible, Devina.
Great then. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. For these next 16 to 18 minutes, I invite you, in Henry James's words, to be one of those on whom nothing is wasted. Please fetch a pen and few papers and turn on your videos to join me in this endeavor of cultivating creativity 2 minutes at a time. Throughout the session, I will invite you to share your opinion. At that time, I request you to write your responses on the pen and paper and show them into the camera like so. Just do a better job of it than I did. I hope by the end of this session, you understand creativity a little bit better and have some tools with you to improve your creativity. So let's just get into it. To begin with, I invite you to share in 5 words or less, what does the word creativity mean to you? I give you 10 seconds to do that. Just write it quickly and show it into the camera, please. 5 words or less. Thinking out of the box says Shivpriya Gauri DTM. Distinguished Toastmaster Shivpriya Gauri. Thinking, I can't really see it, Toastmaster Upinder. Toastmaster Ankur says ability to express, giving yourself. Sanjini, if you could unmute yourself and speak, I couldn't read it.
Giving yourself permission.
Oh, no, how lovely. And let's see here. Naveen sir, if you could just put it closer to the camera, I'll be able to read it. Find a way, do something new, great, all great answers. But I see a common thread in most of your responses. Yes.
Though I'm a guest, can I also put my thoughts here?
Yes.
I don't know whether you can see. Can you see it?
To put your resources together. Wonderful. Yes, a common theme in most of your responses is that creativity is something unique, something that only a few people possess, right? Something that only a few people can do very well, while others, not Renu ma'am for sure. I mean, most people will be able to put their resources together. But yes, to think properly, to innovate, all these things are something that to a normal human like me appear magical. Let me just put it out there that we are all naturally creative if there is any doubt in anybody's mind still that you're not creative. It's just that the more the amount of time we spend exposed to creative thinking, the better we are able to delve into and derive out of a potential in our minds to explore our creative side. Creativity is indeed a little magical, but it's not magic that's too far-fetched. It's magic that we can all use and perform. Just one more myth that I'd like to clarify in case there's anybody still who believes it, even after distinguished Toastmaster Mukesh Thakur has done fairly well to alleviate that. And it's that creativity is not a thing that you have or lack. It's just a skill, much like public speaking, cubing, management, and you can easily develop it. Creativity does begin with one essential process, and that is thinking. There is often you will hear people say that I am not creative, I can't be creative, I am not really a creative person, I like to be in my own zone and do things the way I do. Why people say things like these is because our education system does not really include education about thinking in its curriculum. And that's not just for us, it's across the globe. You will not find anywhere a curriculum designed to teach anybody thinking. We have not been trained to analyze what thinking is all about. I could easily take a 30-credit course about it. But for today, let us just focus on two aspects of thinking. First is perception, and the second is judgment. So with perception, we recognize, we identify things, and it is merely a simplification we make to establish what we know. With judgment, we apply some logic, our own language, some customs, aesthetics, and try and figure out a way to categorize, establish cause and effect, or simply to evaluate what we know. Most of us are well versed with the second part of it, which is judgment. I'm sure you'll all agree. But I'll make a qualification here that most of us are well versed with judgment once we have a perception. For example, once we see a cylindrical glass vessel with a heavy bottom and an open top, and we recognize that it is a glass, then we're able to judge that it will be suitable to drink cold drinks in. Again, say for example, we see a boy chasing a ball down the road, we instantly recognize that it's a bad idea. Or is it? Based on the perceptions that you have, you take action. Say, for example, with the perception that you have of the glass, you use it to drink water or drink something else and do that only. When you see a boy running down the road to fetch a ball, you realize that it's a bad idea and all you will do is try and stop that boy. However, if you just spend a little time in analyzing your perception, you will see that the situation could be much different and your reaction could be completely wrong. What if the glass wasn't a glass? What if it is a vessel to put your paintbrushes in or your pens in or even to make some plants? What if the child chasing after the ball was actually doing it to avoid a blind man walking on the other side of the road from tripping over it? Imagine making a decision based only on your judgment, based on that single perception. It would hardly ever do any good. In this entire process where creativity plays a role is in allowing one to stop, look, listen, and then attempt to sharpen the power of perception before jumping to judgment and solutions. It allows you to open your mind to the endless possibilities and make decisions based on the right. The most important stage in the creative process is thus thinking and recognizing your perception to see which perceptions you might be ignoring. We must focus on this in order to cultivate creativity. That's about cultivating creativity. Now on to 2 minutes at a time. I will be walking you through some exercises you can do in just a few minutes while perhaps you take a break from the screen and look around your room just to straighten your neck, or while you're in the elevator going up and down in your office building, while you're taking the stairs to your home, while you're in the car stuck in traffic, or if you're lucky enough sailing through and through the road. Or if you really want to do it, you could actually develop a schedule and do it religiously day on day as a part of a daily routine. So let us begin with a quick exercise. And this exercise is called changing mindsets. I would like to invite 3 volunteers, and since I don't see a lot of videos, I will be inviting participants from those who I can see on the screen. May I invite Renu, TMOD Mukesh, and distinguished Toastmaster Rupinder Singh for this activity, please. All right, so what I want you to do is find 4 things around you that have color yellow and write them on the piece of paper. Once you're done, you may just show me your paper on the camera.
Can you see it?
I can.
I typed it in chat window
Why?
because you don't understand my handwriting.
All right. Okay. So if I may ask you, how do you feel about the color yellow? Like, do you really like it, or is it just there, one of the colors? Fine.
It depends where I am seeing it. It depends where I am seeing this color.
Okay. Do you know, ma'am?
I think it's a beautiful shade. The sun rises, all those things. Means,
Yes.
and
Rupinder?
depending on the weather. Clothes are depending on the weather.
I get a compliment every time I wear a yellow turban.
All right. So just imagine. So yellow seems to be an influence on all of you. If I may ask you, if I remove the things that you listed in yellow from your life, would your life be any different, even slightly?
No.
No.
And yellow does seem to hold some importance in your life. If I
Yeah.
remove the yellow completely, would that affect your life in any manner?
Of course.
You will of course say that now.
Of course it would.
The compliments will reduce.
Yep.
So just think about it. Thinking about your perception in this manner, something that you held so dearly, the color yellow, if I remove it out of your life, it won't really change a lot about your life. So that is how you can change your mindset. And imagine you're surrounded by the color yellow. You were able to list 4 things so quickly. If I ask you about a color you hate right now, say for example, all right, Thank you, Renu, Mukesh, and Rupinder for participating in this. Let me do a reversal of this activity. If I may invite people in the room who do not really like the color black. Are there people here who'd like to volunteer? People who don't, okay, Shipriya says she loves it. Color pink, don't really like the color pink. All right, Roli is one volunteer. I can be another, but it's not like you hate it, but you don't really like it very much. All right, Roli, if I may just invite you to list 4 things around you which are pink in color.
There is a pink sketch pen. There is a pink pen. There's a coaster which has a few pink flowers. And fourth, there is a small, tiny little art piece which is pink in color.
So imagine, even though you don't really like it very much, there are items around you which are all pink. And those aren't really hampering your life experience in any manner, I hope.
True, they're assisting in some way.
Why not? Why hate them in that case? So that's just how you can change your mindset about things and how you perceive them. Okay, let's go on to the next activity, which is called the next best thought. Thank you, Shivpriya. Let's have 3 volunteers here who think they're fairly creative. I know Sinjani is one for sure. 2 other people who feel they're fairly creative. Shivpriya, I know for a fact, so you can't deny it. And let's go with Tech Master Ankur. And I think everybody will agree to it because of the speeches that we've heard in the past. I invite you to write the first thing that comes to your mind, and you only have 5 seconds, so you better have your pen and paper ready. First thing that comes to your mind when I say, life gives you lemons, what do you do? Time up. Show me what you got. Drink it. What have you written? Store it. Shivpriya? Wash hands with it. Wash it.
Wash utensils which are oily.
All right.
That are
There.
oily. Okay.
See, so I'm pretty sure this would have been your second thought. If I ask you to write one more thing in this scenario, what would you do? Again, 5 seconds. All right. I still can't read it. Tea.
Cocktail.
Lemon tea.
Cocktail.
Cocktail.
Yeah.
Okay, so now you all seem to be in a loop of things you can drink. Anyway, the point of this activity is to make you think of your second thought instead of the first one. Anybody in the room who thought of making lemonades? So that's what you do. You go to the next best thought instead of your first thought, because first thought will be common for most people. And that's where your creativity ends. When you go to your second thought, you open up endless possibilities. So that's the point of this particular game. And coming on to the final game that I'd like you all to explore today, and it's called the analogy game. I would again invite 3 volunteers. We haven't had Suchismita, Anil, and Raj sir participate yet. If I may invite you for this activity, I just want you to turn around and find a space which has a lot of elements on it.
I would like you to excuse me.
All right.
But for
All right, so let's just go with the 2 people here.
Reports.
Suchismita and Anil. You found a wall with too many things on it? All right. So just close your eyes. And as soon as you open it, the first thing that you see, just write it down on the paper. 3, 2, 1. Open your eyes and the first thing that you see, just write it on the paper. Anil has gone somewhere. So Chismita, you were still with us? Great.
Done.
All right. So what have you written? What did you write on your wall?
Teddy bear.
Teddy bear. All right. So I want you to draw an analogy with your life. My life or life is like a teddy bear because.
I have to write it down.
Just complete the sentence out loud. Anil, my life is like flowers because.
Because it has a lot of colors, I guess.
Great. So Chismita,
Life is a combination of a lot of colors.
Yes.
Yes.
My life is like a teddy bear because I have my 4-year daughter with me and she always plays with the teddy bear and she look like a teddy bear. So it's full of teddy bears only.
Wonderful. Just think about it. In any other scenario, would you have thought about comparing your life to a teddy bear or your life to flowers?
No.
That is another trick you can do to practice creativity. Just look around, find one thing and draw an analogy with your life, with a problem you're facing. And by doing this over and over again, you will begin to think creatively in every scenario. There are many such tricks I've developed over the years, and I would love to talk about more of those with you. I'll share my coordinates in the chat right after this, so feel free to connect with me. As I draw to the close of this, as we draw to the close of the session, I would just like to leave you with something I shared at the beginning of this talk. That is that the more time you spend exposed to creative thinking, the more alert you will become to the vast reservoir of potential in your mind. So creativity is indeed magic, but it's magic that we can all perform and use. With that, I hand it back to the Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you very much. Wow. So now members, you now know that in 2 minutes, you can make Maggie as well as you can change your life. Thank you very much for the wonderful speech. Can we have a huge round of applause for our professional speaker of the day? Now this is time for you to speak. And for this is time for the table topics section. Our table topics master for the day is Rupinder Singh, DTM. He is a compulsive connoisseur, a lethargic laggard, a sound sleeper, as he claims. He is the father to a handsome son who he believes has taken after his father, self-confessed wonderful husband. When he is not lazing, eating or sleeping, Rupinder drives improvement and excellence as learning and a development professional. Please put your hands together for our table topic master, Rupinder Singh.
So today I decided to get your creative juices flowing. Ever since I was a child, I have been obsessed with superpowers. And today I decided to combine a superpower and a personality or a place. Before I do that, I would like to explain how table topics work. You've got 1 to 2 minutes. You'll be shown a green at 1 minute, a yellow at 1 minute 30 seconds, and a red card at 2 minutes. And you have 30 seconds after 2 minutes. So maximum you can speak for is 2 minutes 30 seconds, minimum 1 minute, on a topic that will be presented to you.
Rupinder, can I interrupt?
Yes.
So apology, I forgot to get silence for 1 minute. So can we please observe silence for 1 minute?
Sure. Take all the time you need.
Yeah, so thank you very much all the members and guests. So this is time for you to write your feedback for the professional speaker. Timer, please indicate when 1 minute is over. Thank you. Thank you very much, Timer, Raj Mehta, DTM. Back to Table Topics Master.
Thank you. So I will now request for a volunteer, and trust me, that is what a table topic master loves the most, people just jumping to take a table topic. Else I'll do an inky pinky ponky and choose a speaker myself. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let me invite on stage Sinjini Sengupta, since I can't find a better person.
Two fools. Yep.
Sinjini.
Yep. All yours.
So, your superpower is eidetic memory.
What memory?
Eidetic memory, a person who remembers everything. Photographic memory. And the personality is Donald Trump. Go. Eidetic memory and Donald Trump. Eidetic memory and Donald Trump. Sinjini Sengupta.
So I'm Donald Trump and I have eidetic
You
memory.
have a superpower called eidetic memory.
Yes.
And I've given you a personality, Donald Trump.
Okay.
Combine both of them. What would you do if you met Donald Trump and you have a photographic memory?
I would not need an eidetic memory to remember what Trump says because he himself forgets what he said the previous day more often. So I guess it is quite easy to be Trump, and he's so stereotyped, and you can easily, it often seems like he's a spoof of himself. So if I have an eidetic memory, of course, I would try to scan things around him and things that are secret and hidden and things that are let out, though really you don't have to find much. It's all out. But yeah, kind of try to help out the other organizations, countries, substitutes, whoever is around, to be able to find those faults so that it could, it could help them in whatever they're doing, or at least prepare them, because he at times wakes up in the morning, it seems, and gets a new idea and takes it like that, spins them on the head. So maybe if I can read his mind a little bit or see his inside notes, I could send the word out to the world. But it would be a waste of my memory to spend it on Trump. I would have so much more to do with it.
Thank you. Okay. May I request Seema to attempt a topic, please? Seema, are you ready? Is Seema there? If not Seema, I will move on to Renu Gupta. Renu, are you ready to attempt a topic for 1 to 2 minutes? You're muted, Renu. I can't hear you.
I don't mind. This is the first time in my life I'll be attempting something like this.
Okay. So here is the topic for you, Renu.
Yeah.
Imagine that you had the power to make a person allergic to anything.
Oh my.
Okay. To anything. And you see the person you hate the most. What are you going to do?
I don't think there are people whom I hate most or something. So I will just take a randomly. I take a person and I make him allergic. See, if I ever get this kind of power, it is a huge power, I think. And first thing, I would not like to misuse it, because generally it happens when people get certain powers, rather than using them positively, without realizing, they indulge in negativity also. So if I get this kind of power, I will use it for a person maybe who is an alcoholic or something. So bring him out of this scenario and give him a very happy life and make him allergic to drinking alcohol. So the wife is happy, the kids are happy, and everybody is happy. That's all I can think of right now.
Wonderful. I'm pretty sure there are alcoholics in this room who will probably not like you
No, I'm sure there are not alcoholics. There are people who might be enjoying alcohol. There are two different things.
I don't drink, so for me, everyone who drinks is an alcoholic. Okay, moving on. I would like, I have a Naveen Sharma. Naveen, would you want to attempt a topic?
Of course, Rubinder. Yeah, can you hear me? Yeah.
Yes.
See me? Yeah.
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah.
Let's say you had the ability to read minds. You had the ability to read minds. Whose mind would you want to read the first, and why?
Oh, if I could, I would read the mind of Manmohan Singh. He's such a bright man, and he has so much inside him, and only I think 5% of it has been used. If only the world knew what he had been thinking and put it to use. In fact, I have heard his videos at twice the normal speed. I double him up, and then he sounds just fantastic. But if you hear him at the normal pace, one can go to sleep. But if you can read his mind, I'm sure that he's thinking at a terrific speed and thinking of so many things and putting them together. I think he's a very much underrated man. So if I could read his mind, I could be as erudite and as intelligent as him. Maybe I can speak, I can give a voice to his thoughts, and maybe two of us can make a good team. Thank you very much.
For the record, Naveen,
yeah.
If you are able to use your mind at 5% of its capacity, you're probably overusing it. That is what I heard from a psychologist. The cognitive part of your brain, if you're using 5% or more, you're overusing it. I see that the time is almost up, and with that, I would like to give it back to our distinguished Toastmaster Mukesh Thakur, who is also a Toastmaster.
Thank you very much. Can we have a huge round of applause for not only Table Topics Master, but also for all the Table Topics speakers. Now, before we move to the prepared speech sections, can I check your memory? Can any one of you tell me how many activities our professional speakers talked about? Not the professional speakers. 4 activities. Okay, thank you very much, Shipriya. Can you name the first activity?
It is about yellow.
Yeah.
It's about identifying yellow. Second is identifying pink. Number 3, it is what if life throws lemons.
Got it. Your time is over. Thank you very much. Huge round of applause for one of the prepared speaker. Now we are moving to our prepared speech selection, and prepared, as I discussed, the speech is based on the Toastmasters education program. The purpose of the first speech is to present an engaging speech that inspires the audience. The project is level 3, project 2, inspire your audience. The path is innovative planning, and the time allotted to the speaker is 5 to 7 minutes. The speaker today is working as in the cadence as a program quality. She is handling a research project, a scholarship program for 88 unprivileged children. She is an aspirant scintillating speaker. She loves to read and learn about English language. Please welcome on the virtual stage Toastmaster Roli Sinha. A woman's got to do what she has to do. A woman has got to do what she has to do. Roli Sinha.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster of the meeting. It was a typical evening. My daughter had just returned home, Sakshi, and she had all the things to tell me. gossip, or goss, as the teenagers today, actually she's 26, so not really teenager, but as the younger generation of today calls it. So while she was giving me all of this goss, I realized that even after an outing with her friends, her enthusiasm wasn't quite up to the mark. And then she shared that one of her friends, whom she always meets when she goes to India Gate with her friends, had been badly bruised. Her friend's name is Chiriya. And Chiriya had apparently gotten into a scuffle with some people whom she had dared to approach. And instead of helping her out, the policemen indulged her with more sticks and lathis, as they call it. Sakshi was extremely sad because instead of treating Chiriya to an ice cream or a cup of tea or some samosas or some dal, something that the India Gate vendors sell, today she had to take her to a doctor and get treatment. All because of what Chiriya had chosen to be. Sakshi, as a woman, did what she had to do. Chiriya had chosen something that she wanted to do. And the world had responded with hatred and mistrust and suspicion and insult, even violence. You may have guessed, Chiriya is a transgender. And she has suffered a lifetime of abuse, rejection. The only time she has had any compassion being shown without any pity was when Sakshi would go there. They had formed a bond, and Chiriya would come and circle around Sakshi's friends, and then Sakshi would chat with her. If Sakshi did not find her within the first few minutes of her arrival, she would call up Chiriya. She even had exchanged numbers with them. So the friendship was quite strong. After some time, Chiriya disappeared from the scene, never to be seen again. Sakshi went there time and again, but could not find her. In some earlier discussions, Sakshi had been told by Chiriya that she was forced to sell her body for money. So the people would discourage her from coming close to them in public, but were quite ready to use that body. And at that time, they would not feel any kind of disgust, neither with themselves nor with her. After the act was done, the money was paid, and that's it. The job was complete. The disgust was back in place. You know how this term transgender has come about? These are people who were born with a gender which they could not identify with. They could not feel that gender within themselves. And therefore, they decided to choose to be of another gender. Have you seen how many of them are around us? But they are usually kept invisible. And when they part the curtains of our reality that we have formed around us, we do not indulge them with respect. Instantly, they are relegated to the eyesores and the oozing pus points of our society. You and I identify with the gender that we are born with. And that is why you and I are all cisgenders. So name calling can be anything, right? It can be a transgender being called a tranny. It can be a cisgender being called a sissy. Because isn't that what we are relegating ourselves to be? When we refuse to give the right to live as per their wishes to a person? Is this the world that we really want? But I don't want you to feel that all is lost. There are some beautiful, shining examples of these transgenders who have overcome this lifetime of abuse, rejection, violence, and shame and come through to shine in their lives. Like Azia Naz Joshi, a Hindu Muslim transgender woman who has decided to follow the religion of humanity, who went on to become Miss Universe Diversity in Dubai in 2018. She was the first Indian transsexual woman to achieve this medal. There are people around us who are doing wonders. I'm not asking you to give up your right to choose the way you live. I'm just asking you to choose to give them their right too. Please join me. Please respect them. Back to you, Mr. Toastmaster of the Day. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Can we have a huge round of applause for our speaker, Rory Sinha? Members, please observe a minute of silence and utilize this time for writing your feedback. Timer, please indicate me. Thank you very much, Mr. Taima. So, members, as we have come almost around 1 hour of the meeting, are you feeling exhausted? Are you not prepared for the next prepared speech? Why not you just think of what our professional speaker said? Just close your eyes for a few seconds and then you can bring out your creativity. I would just like to reiterate one of the activity where our professionals, anyone can share. Can I ask anyone to share one of the activity? Except Shipriya, she remembers all.
To note down 4 items which are of yellow color.
That was the first activity. Okay, thank you very much, Ankur. Now, let's move to our next prepared speaker. And the purpose of this speech is to get other people to understand, accept, and act upon your ideas. The objectives of the speech is to persuade listeners to adopt your viewpoint or ideas or to take some action, to appealing to the audience's interests, and to use logic, emotion to support your position. This project is CC9 persuading your audience from the manual competent communicator and the time allotted to the speaker is 5 to 7 minutes. Our prepared speaker today, have you heard about Mother of Dragon? She is not Mother of Dragon, but she calls herself as a mother of procrastination. There is one ideology: if others can't do it, I should do it. If others can do it, I should definitely do it. But her ideology is: if others can do it, let them do it. And if others can't do it, I should definitely not do it. Having said that, she feels that the laziness brings innovation in terms of efficiency. Please put your hands together for our prepared speaker, Shipriya Gauri, DTM. How much is too much? Shipriya Gauri, how much is too much?
Thank you so much, Mr. Toastmaster of the Day. January 11, 2016. If you are a cricket lover, then you will remember that it's Rahul Dravid's birthday. I love cricket, but I also love my father, and it was my father's birthday. 12 days into a new job, I joined officially on the 1st of January 2016 to my new job. That means you did not get salary in your previous job for at least 2 months. I wanted to gift my father the most prestigious gift, and that was a bike, a motorbike which has an automatic start button. I was short on cash. My sister was offering me to help, but I wanted to be the elder one, so I denied it. Instead, I went to a friend, a very close friend, and asked for money. She did not deny me, she did not hesitate at all, and she instantly transferred 40,000 rupees to my account and said, "Give it to me in the month of March." And I happily took it. I bought the best gift my father could have had, and I saw a gleam in his eyes that my daughter had gifted me a bike. He asked me, "How did you manage money? You did not get salary for November and December. It was supposed to come with your full and file settlement, and you haven't yet got the salary in your current role." I said, "Don't worry, Dad, I have managed it well." And he asked me, "I hope you didn't have to put anything in peril just for this money." I said, "No." At the birthday party, I thanked my friend and I went back believing that things would be back to normal. 6 days later, it was my birthday. Yes, Rupinder, I am very poor at mathematics. I am very, very poor in calculation. On 17 January, it was my birthday. I invited all my friends, including my best friend. And I was hoping for exciting gifts as I turned 26. Everybody gave me the best gifts possible except my best friend. She said, "Hey, I lent you the money, right?" And for a second, I was taken aback. I thought that was a different business. It was about lending, and of course, I would be repaying her. But I did not know that it would affect her choice for bringing gifts on my birthday. A few days later, it was my parents' anniversary, followed by her parents' anniversary. She did something which I didn't want her to do. She went on slightly immoral grounds in terms of her relationship with her parents. But when I gave her the feedback, she said, "Who are you to give me? After all, you couldn't even manage your own finances for your father's birthday." On that day, I lost the right of being her friend because I did not know how much was too much. Friends, every single day we help our friends. We also seek help from our friends. But it shouldn't be too much that it affects your dynamics with your friendship. You have to ensure that you still hold that much of importance, you still hold that much of authority being a good friend to your fellow friend. Had I not taken that money without any hesitation, she would have listened to me because she knows that I have an authority. I have a persuasive power in her life. The minute I took too much of help, somewhere it put on a leverage where she could choose not to listen to me. So how much is too much? Is it a good choice, or is it a better judgment to take help way too much so that you lose your own self-respect, or you lose your bargaining power, or you lose your power in an equal relationship? Probably not. So next time when you are trying to help somebody, ensure that you're not taking that privilege from them, which says that I can do things on my own. Please ensure that you do not take help too much that it puts you under an inferior position. Because helping is important, but also you need to understand how much to help. Last week, my sister offered me some money, and I just took one promise from her that no matter what, how much of money I take, ensure that this conversation or this aspect in our relationship doesn't fall or doesn't influence the other aspects. Give me the right that I should be able to call you out when you're going wrong. Give me that liberty to give you honest feedback so that I can remain in my same position when it comes to a relationship. If you have that understanding with your best friends, with your siblings, with your family, great. Otherwise, do not ruin your power in a friendship, because you have the moral responsibility to help them move in the right direction. How much is too much? Think about it. Back to you, Mr. Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you very much. Can we have a huge round of applause for our speaker, Shipriya DTM? And I would also like you to observe a minute of silence. Timer, please indicate. Thank you very much, Mr. Saima. So, ladies and gentlemen, now it's time for our power talk by powerful speaker. Can we have huge round of applause for Sanjani Sen Gupta DTM? Sanjani is an author, an influencer, a TEDx speaker, a distinguished Toastmaster. She is a columnist, she is a keynote speaker, and she is a erstwhile actuary. Now, she is spending 48 hours a day trying to build a lighthouse. By just wishing her all the best for her new venture, let's hear the power of silence. Sanjani Sen Gupta, DTM, the power of silence in storytelling, the power of silence in storytelling. Sanjani Sen Gupta, DTM.
You are muted, Sanjeev.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
I am. She said just these two words, tilted her head a little, gave a knowing nod, and smiled. Yes. So we were waiting. After a while, she said it again. I am. and then a pause. Well, a long pause. Wait, this is silence. Now, here's the thing about silence, especially when it comes to public speaking. You would agree they are tricky. They can make you nervous. They can feel like a real waste of time. An error in judgment, a mistake. Poor thing must have forgotten her speech. I'm sure many thought like me. To do her a favor as a co-speaker on the same stage, I thought of sharing her garden as an act of charity. I sat there and got nervous on her behalf. And I started to feel the chills down my spine and the clammy palms and all those familiar feelings we are very, very, very acquainted with as Toastmasters. I stole a glance at her once more. Clearly, her nerves were of steel. Her smile only widened with every passing moment, and her gaze shifted from one face to another in the audience, and then another. I saw her say it one third time, and this time she broke into a grin after that. Is she mad? Now, does that make you uncomfortable? She said. Heck yes. Does that make you very uncomfortable? Of course. By now, I was quite seriously thinking that the MC should pick up the phone and call 100. I look at the face of the speaker one more time. She sported a ponytail and a steady smile. Her eyes were fixed on the audience. Something told me that she hasn't quite forgotten her speech. In fact, it seemed that she knew more than she spoke. Do you think my sentence, it is incomplete? She now held that gaze steady on the first row of audience, and I saw their eyes sparkle. It seemed that they have got it too. How do you complete that sentence? What do you say? I am a mother. I am a wife, a vice president, a teacher, a pedestrian, a driver, a flyer, a frequent flyer. She coaxed us on. And then she looked at us with that piercing glance you cannot mistake. And then she asked us that familiar question. Who are you? Well, it was only now that it dawned on me. The power of that question, of that realization, and of that silence. Now, as a Toastmaster, clocking on an average at least 2 hours every week for several years now, I'm sure many of you have that magic equation memorized in your hearts. An average human being speaks 100 to 120 words a minute, which leaves you at about 600 words as a safety net for your next contest entry, 5 to 7 minutes, and 700 at a stretch. In those many words, you have got to tell your life story, your personal anecdote, inspire, perspire, dispire, even crack a joke if you can to get the audience on your side, and leave them with a takeaway wisdom. Check, check, check. You know what? That calculation, it is a trap. It would be my suggestion to you today, don't fall for it again. Well, I understand why we do that, of course. You know, our greatest fear is of public speaking more than dying. So what if we forget our speech? What if we stop in the middle and don't know what to say and then we go silent? I ask you, what if you win over that fear? What if you make friends with silence? What if you agree to hold its hand and take it with you when you walk up that mantle and sit with it, stand with it, smile through it? What if you let silence sit at the heart of your own speech? Have you ever thought of this immense energy that is this silence? Have you ever explored it enough, toyed with it, used it like a sword that cuts through the crowd and the cacophony that is often our speeches? I tell you, give it a chance. Forget that 700 thumb rule for the next 5 to 7 minutes you would do. Because, it is not a race about who says the most. The information is all out there in Google. It's an experience. Who takes you there, into that moment, to your inside, deep, deeper, fast-paced. And in that zone, I tell you, the only card that flies is silence. Mozart had once said that the music, it is not in the notes, it is in the silence in between. And of course, you would agree that Mozart did know a thing or two about music or about art. Oftentimes, when we talk public speaking, when we talk storytelling, we talk communication as if it is something we need for our professional development, to get on our CV, to get the next promotion, crack the next job. No. Speaking, if used well, is no less than a form of art. I do believe it in the deepest corner of my heart that speaking is as much art as any other art form or format could be. And speaking too can be music if we can play it well. So here is my tip to you today. Use silence to key up your speeches. And when you get uncomfortable with it, when you forget it, when you try to fill in with a filler word, when you try to look here and there and dart your eyes across the audience, know that it is called being for a reason. We are human being, and silence, it is a being silent, doing, talking. We have to do, but we are being first. Bring silence into your being and know that I am is a perfectly complete sentence in its own right. It is uncomfortable, yes, because we are not used to it. But it has a lot of meaning. It has a lot of wisdom. It has a lot of experience. Exactly like silence. I dare you, the next time you go on to speech, the next time you do a contest or a regular Toastmaster meeting speech or any other speech, try this trick. Pep it up with silence. To you.
Wow. Thank you very much, part of the speaker Sanjay Sen Gupta, DTM, for coming and telling us the importance of silence. Can we have a huge round of applause for our part of speaker once again? Thank you very much. So now, before we proceed, now I think everything is got connected. It's as I can say, creativity is not hiding your sources, but it is bringing up silence, space between the input and outputs, and that process is called thinking, and that changes one thing that is called perception to judgment, and everything can be different. With this, we'll move forward for our most important segment, that is called evaluation segment, and that segment will be conducted by our general evaluator Anshu Priya Prasad. Our general evaluator is a journalist. Currently, she is working as a senior producer with India TV. She is a Toastmaster since February 2018, and I admire her for her devotion, her sincerity. Please welcome with a huge round of applause, Anshu Priya Prasad.
Video for some technical reason. I welcome you all to the most important section of the meeting, where we all will help the speakers and the role players to improve through our effective, honest, and dulcet feedback. In order to utilize this dulcet opportunity to the maximum, please be concise and to the point when giving your evaluations. Please try to avoid the repetition of commendation and recommendations, and simply pass on your turn if your feedback is already covered. Now, please welcome our dulcet professional speaker of the day, DTM Devina Chaturvedi, with a huge round of applause. Over to you, Devina.
You are on mute.
Am I audible now?
You're audible now.
All right. So I would like to invite your feedback on anything and everything and add answers to 2 questions. Did you get anything new? And do you see the potential for this to be built into a workshop? If I may first invite feedback from Toastmaster Roli.
Yes, ma'am. So the answer to that question, should it be developed into a workshop, is a definite emphatic yes. The feedback that I have for you also around the same section, I love the interaction that you had in the entire speech. I believe that if you been able to share examples of you have applied in your life using the same techniques that you shared, it would have given us a lead, probably. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Roli. May I hear from distinguished Toastmaster Shivpriya?
Thank you so much, distinguished Toastmaster Devina. Overall, I think it was a great speech. I think it was a great way of engaging the audience, putting them into an immersive learning experience so that they completely get what you're trying to say. My only request to you is that do not take a risk in such scenarios. For example, when you ask the question called, does pink really affected your life in any way? You're lucky that everybody said no. If the answer would have been yes, then you need to have a response. So perhaps you could have just said that, I know for some people may feel that it could change your life. Even if it did, then how much? Does it significantly affect your life or not? So do not take risk. And if you are taking risk, then try to find a way to mitigate that risk. Thank you.
Thank you, Shivpriya. Ankur?
Yes, Devina, I definitely learned new things from your speech, and I also believe that this can go into a full-fledged workshop. The thing which I liked most about it was that the activities were very well planned, having a proper message and conclusion that why this activity was done and how it adds to the overall theme of the speech. The one thing which I felt could have been done better was the time management, because since you had multiple activities, so I felt that something was left which we could have also heard. Due to time, I think we couldn't hear it, or probably the ending was in a bit abrupt. So I believe
That is true, Ankur. I mean, I'm actually sad that you picked it up, but thank you.
So probably next time the time management could be better. Thank you.
Thank you, Ankur. Could I hear from Suchismita?
Yes, ma'am. It was a well-set experience for me to hear from you. Thank you. And being a new, I joined Toastmaster as a guest. So I have not become a member, but I'll be a member of Toastmaster. So there's nothing like, for me, everything is so nice, and I love you the way you say the. Earlier also I have listened to you, the storytelling, the way of your style, and everything was so nice. So from my side, it is complete package. Thank you.
Thank you. Could I just hear from Distinguished Toastmaster Sinjini to close us off?
Thank you so much for the honor. So yeah, Devina, what I just wrote to you personally also. It was a brilliant speech. The you are very composed, and it was a very, the temperament and the pace was very good. If you are going to develop into a workshop, you have to decide it. Don't let anybody, demotivate you. But having said that, do keep in mind that you could perhaps break it into two spaces where first you say how to be creative. Like the creative brain is to open our brain to, look at possibilities without judgment. So to totally be open and say the stupidest thing without any fear. And then comes our critical analysis when we try to narrow it down, when we try to apply our logic. So it's the typical left brain, right brain. So if you just take those two segments separately, it might help people to be more creative and then to be critical while presentation. It's like, something is inside and something is what we want to present to the world. But overall, it was a perfectly well paced and lovely session. We didn't lose attention at all. So great job.
I think Devina's screen froze, so Anshupriya, you can continue.
Okay, thank you, Ankur. Now I would like to invite our first prepared speaker, TM Roli Sinha, to the stage.
Thank you so much, Madam General Evaluator. I would like to hear
Only you got you got muted. Actually.
Okay, thanks for letting me know. I thought I had unmuted myself. Okay, okay, so I would like to hear feedback from Distinguished Toastmaster Shivpriya first.
Thank you, Madam Roni. I overall love the speech. I really like the way how you built the character and how you connected to the word called Chiriya, and then describe the struggles which a transgender or a transsexual undergoes. I also like the ending of what they could have achieved at the end of the day, using one example and to show that what one woman achieved in Dubai. My only point of concern, or only place where I'm little concerned, is that when we share stories of others, a lot of time the conviction lacks because we haven't lived their lives. So probably a little more experience on what you have seen, or at the end of the day, when somebody achieves, someone within your close circle, if you could talk about their achievements also, that would really help me to convince as well as inspire me. So that is my only request. Back to you, Rodi.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Shivpriya. Toastmaster Ankur, would you like to share your feedback?
Yes, Roli. So what I felt was that your voice was very calm throughout the speech, but your message was very strong and bold. And I felt that the pauses and the stress were appropriate wherever required. The only suggestion could be that, and this I didn't realize until it happened, that the hand gestures were in the bottom part, in the 10% of the screen. So we could not see how beautifully you were using them. So that could be something which you can improve in the next speeches.
Thank you so much. Distinguished Toastmaster Devina, would you like to share your feedback? You are unmuted, but I still can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
All right. So really, I was able to feel a variety of emotions ranging from agony to hope. So thank you so much for that experience. I would also like you to begin on a high as opposed to on a normal. So that would help me. And one way I feel you could do that is also is something that will enhance the effectiveness of the speech. That is, you begin with the story about Miss Universe diversity, then go into Sakshi's encounter, and then then leave us uncomfortable instead of making us comfortable with the hope at the end, so that I keep on thinking about it even much after your speech has concluded.
Okay, thank you. That's an interesting observation and suggestion. Uh, uh, Timer, sir, I couldn't notice your card. Could you tell me which card I'm on?
Yellow, sorry, green is already gone. Now it's yellow is coming up.
Okay, thank you. Guest Renu, would you be able to share your feedback?
Hi, Roli and all the Toastmasters. It's a lovely experience to hear you all. I'm sure whatever you were narrating, there were a lot of technicalities which I'm not aware of. But I think it was a very strong message, and I could connect with you, Roli, because it was coming straight from your heart. And it was good to hear, because I also believe, and we are working for transgenders at personal level also through our organization. And I'm sure you will be happy to know once this lockdown is over, around 7 or 8 are joining me home for lunch, because I believe when we can take care of our kids who are born with certain disabilities and we give them all the love and affection, because it's no fault of theirs, then why should these people be left to beg at the signals? Intellectual wise, they are same as us and maybe better. So they should be given the opportunity. They should be given a choice, but means when they are of age, whether they would like to be in boys' college or whatever, but they should be given the freedom. So it was a lovely thought. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Renu Gupta. I was hoping for some suggestions for improvement from you, but what you have shared has moved me much more than I can express. Thank you so much. Back to you, Madam General Evaluator.
Thank you, Roli. Now I would like to invite our second prepared speaker, DTM Shivpriya.
Thank you, Madam General Evaluator. A very good evening to everyone. My focus is basically to understand whether my speech was persuasive enough and whether it was the speech topic or the content was deep enough. So I would request Toastmaster Roli to kindly share her first feedback. Be the first one to share the feedback.
Yeah, sure, Shivpriya. I think that the entire story and build-up was very nice. I constantly felt engaged with the speech, and I was wondering what is going to come next. I feel that a few pauses intentionally placed to help us absorb what had happened, especially after your friend had said, "I've already given you a gift," by paying for your father's listing. I think a pause there would have really heightened the emotion that you would have felt and we would have shared. The conversation I felt about this is, I know, a comment on the content, which we normally don't do, but I just felt that it was something that I would have liked you to at least approach and maybe share as to how such conversations can be managed. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Roli. May I request distinguished Toastmaster Davina to kindly share her point of view? I'm not able to hear you.
Thank you, Shivpriya. Are you able to hear me now?
Yes.
I'm telling my house can hear this feedback. So I would just like to add on to Roli. I realized how this applies to you and your situation, but I struggled a little bit to figure out how it applies to me. So you could have done that by perhaps including some generic situations apart from money matters, which make for tough conversations, and that would have kind of included me in your perhaps.
Thank you so much, distinguished Toastmaster Davina. May I request distinguished Toastmaster Rupinder Singh, if you're in the room, to kindly share your feedback? TTM Rupinder. I don't see him. May I request Toastmaster Aditya to kindly share the feedback?
Hi, thank you, Shivpriya. My feedback has already been covered, as in the improvement points. I'd just like to reiterate that you have a very dulcet voice.
Thank you. Finally, there is a word of the day coming up. May I request distinguished Toastmaster Mukesh to kindly share his feedback?
Thank you very much, DTM Shukriya. I really liked the way you delivered the speech. I really liked the way you created a story, and at the end you came out with some of messages. The only recommendation, as I can see, is uh, you are at the end. I felt like you are not coming with some positive solution. Maybe you can I felt like you are like complaining some situation that happened to you. So that's fine. You can complain, but you come out with some positive solution or leave the audience with some thinking. So that's my only recommendation.
Thank you so much. I see the yellow card up. May I request the general evaluator to kindly give the final feedback and then take it forward?
Thank you, Shivpriya. I really like your speech because you talked about a very relevant topic. I think most of us were able to connect with it. And as we keep wondering about the same, how much is too much? One recommendation for you, if you could have added some dialogues, it would have enhanced the speech more. And some kind of conclusion or something better to work on, a call for action was missing. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Madam General Evaluator. I'll work on this feedback and I plan to deliver the speech again. Back to you.
Thank you, Shivpriya. Okay, now it's my time. Okay. So thank you everyone for the feedback for our speakers. So let's hear from our Dulcet supplementary role players about how we scored in terms of time, accounts, and in grammar. Now I would like to invite Dulcet Aditya Gupta to present his Dulcet Grammarian report. Please welcome him.
Thank you so much, Madam General Evaluator, and thank you so much for increasing the count of the word of the day being used by 4 times in the last 4 minutes. So good evening, everybody. Today, the word of the day, Dulcet, has been used by 8 times, once by DTM Mukesh Thakur, once by Suchismita, once by me, and 5 times by our Madam General Evaluator. I'll start by telling you some good usages in the meeting today. Leaps and bounds, aesthetics, pause and effect, inky pinky ponky, eidetic memory, erudite, goss, as in the slang for gossip, scuffle, also keeping the context of current weather in mind, samosa. Actually, I found that good usage. Then how much is too much? Inspire, perspire, despire, and a sword that cuts through the crowd. With that, I'd like to move on to some not so good usages, as in a bit of sentences that require some grammatical correction. Everything is inspired from one thing or other thing. A better way of saying that could be everything is inspired from one thing or the other. How we will be proceeding forward could be replaced with how we will proceed forward. My daughter had just returned home, Sakshi. Now, a very common misplacement modifier error there. My daughter Sakshi had just returned home. And a last one, a very common and very easy subject verb agreement error. The objectives of the speech is, the correct sentence would be, the objectives of the speech are. With that, I would like to conclude that the grammarian had a very good day at the office today, and I would like to hand it over back to our champion word of the day user, General Evaluator.
Thank you, Aditya Gupta. Now I would like to invite our counter of the day, TM Honey Khanduja.
Hi everyone, I hope I'm audible and visible. I hope
Yes,
so, and
yes,
my
you
screen
are.
is visible too. So just like the grammarian of the day, the R counter also had a very good day at office. I didn't observe much of the R's, ums, and the filler words. The report is here. The number of words have been pointed. The pauses have been pointed with one S means one short pause. There are no long pauses as such. So only three things that I want to mention here as a part of my R counter report specifically is, in one of the speech, I could hear a couple of times the breathing voices. Now that was actually adding to, to me, it was like a filler thing that adds to the speech, and it can be avoided. How it can be avoided is either you, when you're breathing or when you're delivering the speech, it's, the calm and the composed manner in which you deliver your speech actually is determined by how calm is your breathing tempo. So that is something that we can work upon. Or the second, or the probably glitch with the mic also can be there. So you can put the mic at a distance where your breathing is not heard as an interruption. The other thing that I realized was that when we are saying and when we are saying so if it is an exclamation or it's an expression, it should come as and not So those would be the differences between the filler words aspect. So only these two close observations that I wanted to mention. I'll be sharing this report in the group for the members as well as the guests. That's all from my side. Over to General Evaluator.
Thank you, Honey. Now I would like to invite timer of the day, DTM Raj Mehta, to the stage.
Hello.
Hello, I can
Is
hear
my
you,
screen
sir.
visible?
Yes.
Mr. Tech Master, can you please confirm? Am I audible?
Yes, you are audible, and your screen is also shared.
Thank you. As you will see that most of the activities have been done within the time, but when we come to about acknowledgement of guests, a little bit extra time was taken. Similarly, introduction of the Toastmasters of the day, some extra time was taken. It's here. And then we also, as in the case of structure of the meeting, time allotted was 2 minutes, but time taken was 2 minutes and 30 seconds. Again, introduction of the role player, time allotted was 2 minutes, time taken was 2 minutes 59 seconds. And the professional speaker took 19 minutes 54 seconds instead of 18 minutes allotted. Coming down. Okay. In the case of Toastmaster Olicina, time allotted. Sorry, it is okay. Sorry. Toastmaster of the day for introduction of the second speaker. Time allotted was 1 minute, but it took 2 minutes and 26 seconds. Again, for junior evaluator, time allotted was 1 minute, but it took 30 seconds more. And Devina Chaturvedi, while taking evaluation, she took 12 seconds extra. And the Grammarian's report, he took 2 minutes 15 seconds, saving therein by 35 seconds. And the AHA counter took only 1 minute and 40 seconds. And I till now have taken 2 minutes and 5 seconds. As far as if we go by the segment wise, opening segment was for 13 minutes, time taken was 9 minutes and 4 seconds. Most of the day segment was, I do not know whether it was on the agenda 5 minutes, but it was 10 minutes and 14 seconds. Professional speech was allotted 80 minutes, time taken was 19 minutes and 54 seconds. Table topic session, time allotted was 11 minutes and it was 11 minutes. Prepared speech section, time allotted was 18 minutes and it was over within 17 minutes and 01 seconds. Power talk speech, time allotted was 11 minutes and it was done in 8 minutes and 49 seconds. What mentioned there. And evaluation session, total 29 minutes are allotted until now. It has 28 minutes done, already done. Thank you very much.
Thank you, DTM Raj Mehta. Let's have a huge round of applause for our supplementary role players for their Dulcet reports. I will now present my opinion on the entire meeting. First of all, I would like to acknowledge that our meeting has started on time, dot at 4 p.m. Let's appreciate ourselves for achieving it in every meeting. Guests were introduced properly, keeping in mind the time limit. One suggestion, I am missing an inspirational quote or story from our president, DTM Rupinder. It would have set the tone of the meeting right in the beginning itself. You were also lacking on energy, but it's understandable for the reason that you are not keeping well these days. And our Toastmaster of the day, DTM Mukesh, chose an intriguing theme, being creative. The theme was in sync with our professional speech. This theme instantly caught the attention of the audience when he involved the audience for an activity. He explained the structure well. I appreciate the PPT to explain the structure and to introduce the speakers. At the time of evaluation, DTM Mukesh helped audience to write down their evaluation by showing objectives of the speech. Only one recommendation for you, Mukesh, maybe you would like to make a note of the flow of the structure of the meeting and paste it somewhere on the screen. It will help you to remember every step. And now the roundtable evaluation for our speakers. Okay. The roundtable evaluation, our professional speaker, DTM Devina, was quite creative when she talked about cultivating creativity. She engaged the audience well with the activities. Roundtable evaluation for DTM Devina was quite good. I hope that it would help the speaker to craft and deliver the speech better. I also felt that a strong message and summary of the points which she made in the speech were missing in the end. And our first prepared speaker, Roli, chose a sensitive topic to speak on. But I would appreciate the speaker that she handled it with great sensitivity and care. Roli received some good suggestions in the roundtable evaluation. I think it will surely help. And our second prepared speaker talked about very relevant topic. I think most of us were able to connect with it. And I have already given the recommendation and you got a satisfactory roundtable evaluation. So now we come to our tech team. As a grammarian, Aditya Gupta did an excellent job. He very well summarized the highs and lows of the language. He introduced a useful word of the day, dulcet, which I really liked. Our accountant, TM Honey, produced an effective and efficient report. She went a step ahead and talked about breathing sound. Wow, that's really helpful, Honey. As a timer, DTM Raj Mehta did a fantastic job. Thank you for such helpful report. It will surely help us to achieve our time goals as a club. Now, table topic master, DTM Rupinder. As a table topic master, DTM Rupinder came up with innovative table topics, which kept everyone engrossed. He also encouraged everyone to participate. I would applaud his preparedness and alertness. Our first table topic speaker, DTM Sinjini, gave an excellent speech on photographic memory. And trust me, Sinjini, it wasn't your worst attempt. You spoke your heart out and I loved it. Our second table topic speaker, Renu. I think no one could believe that you tried table topic for the first time, Renu. Your speech was full of wisdom. Kudos to that. Third table topic speaker, Naveen, was spot on with his topic. I think most of us would like to peep into Dr. Manmohan Singh's mind, and would like to know why he behaves the way he does. And again, our Power Talk speaker, DTM Sinjini Sen Gupta, gave us a food for thought. And I really like the poetic structure of her speech and her dulcet voice. So with this, I conclude my evaluation report. Please welcome our President, DTM Rupinder Singh, with a huge round of applause. Over to you, Rupinder.
Thank you, General Evaluator. I will now ask.
Rupinder, your voice is very low.
It's feeble.
Okay. Thank you, General Evaluator. I will now ask any professional speaker if they require any help from a fellow professional speaker, or whether they would like to recognize a fellow professional speaker for help rendered during the past week.
I would like to thank Toastmaster Roli, Toastmaster Mukesh, Toastmaster Raj Mehta, and Toastmaster Ankur for helping me build my table topic speaking skills this week on Wednesday. So thank you very much for the topic and the opportunity and evaluations.
Yeah, I would also like to thank Toastmaster Roli and Shipriya and Raj Mehta for giving me the helpful suggestion on my table topics and pronunciation on Wednesday.
+1.
Anyone else?
I'd like to do a +1 on all. Special thanks to distinguished Toastmaster Shipriya for suggesting a technique to overcome my hesitation in table topics and redefine my approach over there. I also want to thank distinguished Toastmaster Mukesh Thakur for organizing this session. And I hope that we continue every single week.
I guess our Wednesday meeting is taking shape. It is more being talked about.
Good. Anyone else? I would in general want to thank every one of you because I have not been keeping well, and I'm just amazed at the way that the meeting was conducted. I'm pretty sure that the position for a president is soon going to become redundant in this club if things continue this way. With that, I would like to move on to the guests, and I would start with Suchasmita. Suchasmita, how did you like our meeting, and if there are any suggestions you have for improvement?
Thank you, sir. It's my second time I'm attending your meeting as a guest, and today I love it. I learn a lot of things. I learn about the importance of silence, how to use the silence, how to make your silence as a key power in your speech. Then I got to know what is creativity. Though I know the create as a teacher, I know what is creativity in a educational way, but creativity can be taken in a, such a different way that is something which I learned. And it's like the story, the act, the storytelling, the usage of the word, and a new word, learning of new word, Delset, which and using it in a way is a very useful for me, being a new person in this field. So I liked it everything. I enjoyed the session, and I have noted down everything, all the point as said by the Delset speakers. So thank you for giving me that opportunities. Thank you.
Let's move on to Renu. Renu, how did you like the meeting?
Thank you all. Rupenderji, first I would like, how are you feeling? Because I think you took the hot water and scalded your tongue or something. If that was
no,
the
that
thing.
was a different story. That was part of a story. Actually,
Oh,
I've
I
been
thought
sick
really
this-
you did that. I'm sorry.
No,
I
it
really
happened.
thought.
It happened. It happened. It's just that I've been sick since last Saturday. It's not been
Okay.
keeping well. So
Okay.
during
Okay.
the course of that happened. Yeah.
So first, I would take this opportunity to thank each one of you because today it's the first time I attended this meeting.
Krishna?
And I was
Krishna?
I was feeling quite comfortable. Even I volunteered to take part in certain activities because I was never made to feel an outsider. And first time I realized ki the small technicalities, how they can make or break a speech or a presentation, because these are very minor techniques which make a lot of difference. And means I always believe when something comes from your heart, you automatically connect to the audience. But these pauses, the tone, the flow, everything matters. And it was a wonderful experience. And I would also like to thank Sanjini for putting that message. Thanks a lot, Sanjini, though we have never met, but it was a wonderful experience. And let me see, I will find out whether I can be part of this group or how you go about it. And I wish all of you all the very best. It has been a lovely Delsit meeting. Thank you so much.
Well, Renu, when you are with Shinjini, you are in a very safe pair of hands. And speaking of Shinjini, why don't you tell us what you liked about the meeting and what can improve?
First, I thought I will, note down a few points which I can then take back to our regular Toastmaster meeting and tell them that this is how they do. But after a while, I stopped doing that, and I thought that I should pick up either you or Mukesh and take you to our meeting so that you can show how you do it. I mean, unbelievable, structure, very, very positive environment. The flow is very good. The way the speakers can approach the different members and ask for feedback. I don't know if the evaluation practice like in the contest format is on in some other way, but frankly, this is so much more useful for the speaker to get to the point rather than to have a 3 minute against their 5 minutes. So I'm a total fan. Really lovely job how you have shaped this up, and also I keep seeing the posters and everything, so truly professional. I think you have named yourself and lived up to your name. I totally admire what you are doing with this club.
Yeah, thank you, Shinjini. The credit for the name actually goes to Mukesh Thakur and Punita Singh, ma'am.
Our VP membership is Anuset, just for your information.
Yeah.
Don't embarrass me. Bengali club is starting anyway. Okay. But yes, I know, and I really, I'll think about it.
Okay, thank you. Now, per sorry. Thank you everyone for attending. I myself learned a little bit about creativity, and I would like everyone to please come for our next session, which is the networking session. Thank you very much, and I would request one of you to please take over the networking session. I'm feeling a little feverish right now. Thank you.
Thank
very much,
you,
sir.
distinguished. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mukesh, sir, would you like to take it up, or do you?
No,
want
I
to
just wanted to
continue?
say that I will be online, but I will keep coming and going because I am in the office. Okay.
Okay, we do need people's feedback. So I understand that you're in office and Rupinder sir is not feeling well, but maybe you can just listen in, and whenever you feel that there is something that requires your input or you want to give a differing opinion, especially, please do pitch in.
Madam Presiding Officer for the networking session. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am. You are very audible, and I love the video. Please continue doing it. I think I can take a screenshot. Yes, please go ahead.
I would just request you to call the meeting a close so that we can jump into our
The
regular.
networking session, sure. So on behalf of distinguished Toastmaster Rupinder Singh, the club president, I declare the official meeting closed. We shall now be proceeding to our networking session where we want to discuss certain points about improving the structure of our meetings in order to make them more interactive, interesting, and applicable for the different members' needs.
Ma'am, may we just request you to kindly turn off the YouTube or close the YouTube live streaming because
Yeah,